Some knowledge cannot be written. It can only be passed, hand to hand, father to son. For 60 years, Rajamanickam has shaped metal. For 25 years, his sons have worked beside him. And now, a boy in 10th standard watches from the corner, learning, waiting, wondering if this craft will become his future too. This is not just about making plates. It's about bloodlines and what happens when bloodlines decide whether a craft survives or disappears. Rajamanickam is 72 years old. He began learning this craft at the age of 10, guided by his father, a goldsmith, in a system of strict discipline. It took 5 years before he could work independently. Back then, the workshop closed only at night, 7, sometimes 8 in the evening. No stepping out until the work was done. That was the rule, and that rule shaped him.
It depends on the child interest and how they behave. In my younger days, I didn't have the pressure like I must earn immediately to survive. I had support at home. Food was there, so I could focus on learning and working. Workshop discipline was strict. By the time the day's work finished, it would be 7 or 8 in the night. Only after leaving the workshop could we go out. Learning becomes strong only when discipline and interest are there.
Discipline, interest, support. These are not buzzwords. They are survival requirements. And Rajamanickam passed them to his sons the same way his father passed them to him. Not through lectures, through proximity, through watching, through correcting mistakes with a glance, not a word. Step 11. Fixing copper and silver sheets in layers. This is where the plate begins to take its final shape, where individual impressions, hammered separately, waxed separately, are positioned onto the base plate. Outer sections first, copper and silver alternating, each piece aligned perfectly in a round form. Marking ensures the layers hold. Then come additional outlines, borders, frames. The central figure is cut last, positioned carefully, fixed with precision. And when the central figure locks into place, the structure of the plate finally becomes visible. This is collaborative work. Rajamanickam and Marimuthu sit side by side. Father guides, son executes. Hands move in rhythm they do not need to discuss because they have done this together for 20 years. Step 12. Marking for button positions. Small copper buttons, handmade, delicate, will be fixed along the plate's decorative borders. They add depth, dimension, visual rhythm. But before buttons can be fixed, their positions must be marked. Precisely, evenly spaced, symmetrical. One misplaced mark and the entire design loses balance. Marimuthu uses a divider, measures, marks, checks again. His father watches, nods or corrects. No words needed, just presence. Step 13. Making copper buttons, known as Jigana Kulittal. This is precision drilling, shaping tiny copper pieces into uniform rounds. Each button no larger than a fingernail. They must be identical, consistent, because inconsistency shows. And this is where family trust becomes essential.
Marimuthu is my younger brother. From the beginning, he supported me. If I take an order, we finish it together. He gives me confidence. If we both sit and work, we complete it. And sometimes he finishes a day early. Then he went to Malaysia for 3 years. During that time, it was difficult. Workers were irregular. Sometimes they come, sometimes not. It was hard and took time to recover. When he returned, things became smooth again.
3 years. That is how long Marimuthu was away, working abroad, trying another path. But for those 3 years, the workshop struggled. Hired workers came irregularly, disappeared, promises broken, orders delayed. Loganathan tried to manage alone, but this work is not meant for one person. When Marimuthu returned, things stabilized, not because he brought new skills, but because he brought trust, rhythm, the unspoken coordination that only family can offer. Step 14. Fixing the buttons. This is the highest risk stage in the entire process. Each tiny button must be positioned and fixed onto the plate's surface. If the button cracks during fixing, if the pressure is too much, if the angle is wrong, the entire section must be redone. Hours of work lost. And buttons are fragile. Copper bends, copper breaks. So this step requires patience, precision, and steady hands that do not rush. Rajamanickam used to do this stage himself. Now his hands shake slightly. Age has made the work harder. So Marimuthu does it, and his father watches, guides when needed, stays silent when trust is enough.
They learned naturally, just as a child learns by watching elders. They observe this craft by being around it daily. When someone grows up inside this environment, the system becomes familiar. You show them how to place tools, how to strike, how to shape. They observe and gradually learn. They learn through interest and natural practice.
Natural practice, observation, absorption. This is how craft survives, not through textbooks, not through formal degrees, but through proximity, through years of watching before trying, through mistakes corrected without anger, and through belief that the child sitting in the corner today might become the master tomorrow. His name is Ganapathy Ram. He is 15 years old. He studies in 10th standard. He lives in Trichy. On holidays, he comes to his grandfather's house and he watches. He watches Marimuthu work the silver. He watches Rajamanickam guide with a glance. He watches the copper take shape under the hammer. Sometimes he tries a little himself, cleaning, preparing, small tasks. And when his friends visit, he shows them the plates. They take photos. They say, "This is super." He wants to show it at school. He wants people to know.
என் பேர் கணபதி ராம். நான் 10th படிக்கிறேன். நான் திருச்சியில் இருக்கேன்.
My name is Ganapathy Ram. I am studying in 10th standard. I live in Trichy. On holidays, I usually come to my grandfather's house. I really like this art plate work. When I come here during holidays, my grandfather teaches me things like cleaning and preparing the plates. I try to learn. I like this art very much. I usually sit and watch my uncle work daily. Sometimes I try doing a little myself. If I get a chance in the future, I would like to be involved in this art. I will try to do it.
ஈடுபாடு படுவேன். நான் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுவேன்.
If I get a chance, not when, not I will definitely, but if I get a chance. Because Ganapathy Ram is 15 and 15-year-olds in India do not decide their futures based on passion alone. They decide based on income, status, what their families can afford, what society will respect. He likes the craft, but liking is not enough. And Rajamanickam knows this. He does not pressure the boy. He teaches when the boy comes, and when the boy leaves for Trichy, he lets him go. Because forcing a bloodline to continue is not the same as keeping it alive. The buttons are fixed, the sheets are layered, the plate is taking shape. 3 generations working together. Rajamanickam guiding, Marimuthu executing, Loganathan supporting when orders grow large. And in the corner, Ganapathy Ram watches. No one knows if he will return after 10th standard. No one knows if he will choose engineering or IT or this workshop. But for now, he is here, learning, absorbing, becoming part of a rhythm that has lasted 60 years. And maybe that is enough. Not certainty, but possibility. Because bloodlines are fragile. But they are also stubborn. And sometimes all it takes is one boy in the corner, watching, wondering, waiting for his chance.